All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Jared Nuzzy Podcast, Episode 4, Super Bowl recap. Super Bowl Sunday was a couple days ago. I know if in case you're under a rock, the Patriots took it down. Pat, how you doing today, bud?
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to do this show. A little bit different result than we expected, but kind of, what we expected or talked about the Rams defense doing. It's just their offense didn't hold up their end of the bargain. And but just quickly want to just say thank you. What we have, over 100 something views for
Yeah,
that Super Bowl show. So that's good stuff. We appreciate all the support again. People listen to this show, and let's break it down a little bit.
yeah, and just to go back to that, we say it every show. Thank you guys for the support and everything. But I get texts and calls, and you guys want more, and that's what we're trying to figure out too is our schedules, and we do want to for the football off season and going into the NBA here, where it's getting down to the trade deadline and everything. We want to do keep it to maybe like NBA Tuesdays and NFL Draft Fridays is our goal right now. With the Super Bowl being over, and we want to turn our attention to the draft, where I know that's your area of expertise, and we both enjoy that. So
I'm itching to do the draft stuff, and I know a couple people already written, when we're doing the draft, and they're excited here. So I'm all about the draft, so I can't wait to do that. But too, just real quick, what a great feeling when you go into work and a couple people first ask you when you're doing this next show, or you getting a text, when's the next show? It's good stuff. I guess we are doing something right. I think we're
yeah,
headed in the right direction, Seb.
we're off to a good start for sure, if we say so ourselves, and we definitely having a great time doing this. I know my wife hooked me up with some new gear here and some new equipment, and that's what we're focusing on too, is just making the show better and making the sound quality better, and that's the plan going forward.
Yes.
But let's jump into this game. Obviously, Patriots took it down 13-3. Of course, the score everybody thought would happen, right? Nice defensive battle. We definitely hit on some stuff in the pregame show. We were, about Brady being a little rattled early by that defensive front. But man, if we just didn't take into account this Patriots defense enough, I mean, the game plan by Bill Belichick was just flawless, and Brian Flores, of course, had a lot to do with that as well. And
Yes.
they just made Jared Goff look totally incompetent at times. I mean, he looked like he did in his rookie year. I mean, it was an amazing display by the Patriots defense, and winning their sixth title. Brady getting his sixth. He's now has the most titles of any football player, NFL player now, passing Charles Haley. He was tied with that 5. It's just a hell of a game plan by the Patriots.
Yeah, no, I mean, we talked about. I mean, we really, talked a lot about Sean McVay on the Super Bowl preview show, and we talked. Well, obviously, we know Belichick's a great coach, and we give him his respect. But quite honestly, Belichick just coached the pants off McVay, and Sean McVay even said it in the post game. Hey, listen, I was just out coached, and Belichick, putting his hand back in the defense with Matt Patricia gone, being more involved, and he just came up with a great game plan. He didn't even adjust at halftime. Usually, he adjusts at the half and starts throwing other stuff out there. But he said he didn't even have to adjust. He just kept going with the same thing because it kept working. And I go back to when the Rams played Chicago on Sunday Night Football, and your new head coach Vic Fangio kind of exposed Jared Goff a little bit, had him looking like a deer in headlights. And it took Goff a good 2-3 games to get out of that funk. And he did, to McVay's credit, they adjusted and he did. But he went right back into that kind of look. And Belichick just had him rattled, man. And, I've been saying this, though, for, pretty much all year. I think Jared Goff is a system quarterback. And when that system breaks down, you get exposed a little bit, and
Yeah, a
certainly
little bit
wasn't a
for
good
sure.
performance. And something we briefly talked about too. I kind of question it: is Jared Goff the Rams franchise quarterback? I know
That's
you
definitely
disagree.
that's definitely probably the talk around Los Angeles. I mean, if they do have any fans that talk football in that city, but that goes without. That's another story. But yeah,
And real quick too, I know you were surprised, Seb. The Patriots had home field in this game. I mean, this was like a Patriots home game.
it really
I didn't
was.
see that coming.
It felt like they were playing at Foxborough. You could see Jared Goff, putting his hands to the ear holes of his helmet to try and get the play calling. But you go back to saying Jared Goff in that funk, and he was in that funk, and it definitely took him 2 or 3 games after that Chicago game to kind of get back into the the groove. But that was largely part of the run game with the resurgence of C.J. Anderson. Todd Gurley had a few good games mixed in there before he got hurt, but that run game was
Ah,
just non-existent in this game, and Todd Gurley is not right. And we
I mean,
think they had him on the bike, they had him working out every so often and on the sideline, but we both talked about it, off air and said we think it's a mental thing. I mean, C.J. Anderson was talking to him throughout the entire game as if he was a 10-year-old trying to deal with a bully or something. It was really, really strange. Something is not right with Todd Gurley, and we said in the pregame show, I said that if the Patriots could stop the run and stop Todd Gurley and stop C.J. Anderson, which they did, Bill Belichick was going to have a field day with Jared Goff, and he did just that. Jared Goff
yeah,
had nothing in this game, nothing.
not. I mean, and there was times where Reynolds was running wide open down the middle of the field,
Wide
and
open.
just Goff just didn't see him. I mean, he just definitely picked the worst time to have probably his worst game and one of the worst games a quarterback could have in the Super Bowl. But just going back to Todd Gurley, yeah, we just can't figure out because he looks healthy, at least
Definitely looked up.
physically, but mentally there's just something, something not right. I know he had that gruesome injury in Georgia, and I don't know, he had a little bit some injury issues. Was that in the back of his mind? I don't know. Just he just was not right, and the Rams definitely needed him to have that 20-25 carry, 100+ yard game, and he just did not deliver.
Yeah, he definitely did, and I mean, it's something that the Rams are going to have to look at moving forward when they get into these big game situations. If that's saying if he's not healthy. If he's not healthy, he's not healthy. That's a different story. But I mean, you're at the biggest stage, Super Bowl 53. You have a chance. You're in the game. I mean, it was the first half. They had 57 yards in total offense, and they were still only down 3 points, thanks in large part to that first drive interception that they got on Brady's first pass attempt. Gostkowski missed the field goal early. They forced a couple punts, even though the Patriots crossed midfield, which is another thing too. They had no field position throughout the entire game.
Hmm.
But Todd Gurley's got to be there for them. They're paying him like a franchise running back. He's one of the top, I think he's the top paid running back in the league. He's got to play like it. He cannot disappear in the NFC title game and in the Super Bowl like he did this year. Or I mean, they're not going to win a title without Todd Gurley. Let's be real.
Yeah, unbelievable. And and Jared Goff had plenty of time, to throw in the game. There was only a couple of times where he really had pressure coming right at him. So it's not like he didn't have the time. He just a lot of times was missing the open receivers. And Brandon Cooks came to play. I know we said that was the one guy from the Rams. You can tell he brought his best. But
Yeah, he wanted it. He was the only guy on that offense that wanted it. I mean,
yeah,
Robert Woods showed some, some
a
signs,
couple
excuse me,
decent
but
catches. Yeah,
decent catch. But like they can't do anything if Goff's not performing. I mean, he's got to get them the ball. I mean, there was
and
that one broken coverage. Brandon Cooks was wide open. There was plenty of time for Goff to make the throw. He made the throw way too late. I think it was Devin McCourty who came flying across the field. Might have been Jason. I do get them mixed up.
but
Uh,
if he throws the ball earlier, then obviously that's an easy touchdown.
Easy six, easy touchdown. They take the lead, and that game is totally different. But he
Mm.
didn't make the throw. Let's shift gears here over to the Patriots side of the ball. And I mean, what can you say about the Patriots and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady? I mean, winning their sixth title. Uh,
Amazing.
it's an unbelievable dynasty, and I know that not everybody's happy to see it,
They're,
including
they're
us.
the
But
best.
they are the
They're the best.
best. They're
They're
the
the
best to
best
do it.
for, yeah. I mean, that duo is the best to do it. Simply put, you can say what you want, but they have the rings to back it up, and they've done it a number of ways. That they've done it, needing to score 40+. They've done it special teams, and then in this past Super Bowl, they did it with their defense, and just a brilliant game plan by Bill Belichick, and being assisted by, Brian Flores. My hat goes off to them. He just did a masterful coaching job with no, we touched on it. They don't have any elite pass rushers, no, stud linebackers, just a solid group in the secondary. And he took the young McVay behind the woodshed, and he came up with a masterful game plan.
Yeah, and like the Patriots always say in their motto is do your job, and that's literally what everybody does on that defense and offense. They do their job. They held the Rams, like we said, to 57 yards in the first half. Not one time did the Rams have a snap inside the Patriots 25 in that whole Super Bowl. And
Amazing.
that's just an unbelievable. More than likely, the greatest defensive performance in a Super Bowl that we've ever seen. I mean, definitely gave up the lowest amount of points, lowest amount of yards and a half in a Super Bowl. The first time Sean McVay coached Rams team was shut out in the first half. So, I mean, it was just an unbelievable performance. Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh, they for the most part they did their job. I mean,
Hmm.
they got Brady off his feet a little bit, off target.
And they
They
stopped the run
they
really up
stopped
until
the
the
run
late fourth quarter.
until the fourth quarter. Sony Michel broke a few runs off, and I think that might have just been a little bit of fatigue. They did run a lot more plays than the Rams, just kind of
Hmm.
like that Falcons Super Bowl. They ran a ton more plays. The only answer really, the only thing the Rams didn't have an answer for was Julian Edelman. I mean, he was unbelievable.
Oh,
He was making Marcus Peters, Aqib Talib, Roby Coleman look like high school corners. I mean, it was unbelievable the moves he was making. He deserved that MVP. He was definitely the best player on the field that day, and he definitely deserved that
he was
for sure.
masterful. He was such a great route runner, and they just had no answer for him. I mean, what a job he just did getting open, getting yards after the catch, and well, just another great performance, another great postseason performance. I know you talked about it, Seb, in the Super Bowl previous show. The numbers he's had in the postseason, he just keeps adding to it, and got another two, three good regular seasons and a couple more good postseasons, and we start talking about him as a potential Hall of Famer.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's definitely up there, and he's got the rings, obviously, to back it up. He's been consistent with Brady over these years, and they definitely missed him last year when he wasn't out with that ACL injury.
He was
Um,
probably the difference, and if he was healthy last year, they probably would have been hoisting another Lombardi trophy.
yeah, you'd have to think. I mean, Chris Hogan had a great game, that Super Bowl and everything, but Julian Edelman just adds a total different dynamic to that offense. And then when they decided to finally bracket him or double team him, that's when Rob Gronkowski came alive in that final drive, made a couple
Yeah, he made a
key
big
catches,
catch. Yeah.
and you probably think that was probably his last game if you had to bet on it. So just an amazing NFL season. Great Super Bowl. Everyone thought it was boring. We as football, junkies, definitely enjoyed the hell out of it from start to
Absolutely.
finish.
Very
Defend,
competitive game.
yeah, you have to look deeper into it, to kind of see it. But it was definitely an entertaining Super Bowl and entertaining season. Ends with a sixth Lombardi Trophy for the Patriots, and unfortunately for most of us, they're not going anywhere. I mean, they're
No,
not. Brady's not retiring. Belichick's not retiring. Yeah, they'll lose Gronkowski, but they played a lot of seasons and a lot of Super Bowls without Gronkowski, and they still made it there. So they're not going anywhere. They'll probably be the favorites in the AFC. I mean, Kansas City will have something to say about that, but I know for my money, I'm not betting against them until Brady retires. I mean, he can be 50 throwing the ball. I'm still going to think that they got a shot. So we want to definitely.
absolutely.
I don't know if there's anything you wanted to add at the end. Make sure, actually, real quick, make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube page, Jared Nuzzi Podcast. Like the Facebook page, Jared Nuzzi Podcast, if you haven't yet. We're also on Twitter at Jira Nuzzi, JIRANUZZI. We definitely appreciate the continued support. And we'll definitely be seeing you soon. We're going to have an NBA show coming. Our schedule we want to do is a little off just because of the Super Bowl. But we're going to jump right into the NBA and all the rumors and the trade deadline, the All Star games coming up, and that's when the NBA season starts kicking in. Anything you wanted to add before we leave, Pat?
No, absolutely. We'll definitely get to the NBA show. Just, we want to do the Super Bowl recap, get that up and running. The NBA show's coming very, very soon, possibly tomorrow, probably tomorrow. And then, yeah, the NFL draft stuff. I'm ready. I
Yeah,
know a
man.
lot of you guys are too. We're gonna
We'll throw
be
our mocks
very
up.
NFL draft heavy.
Yeah, mock point 1.0, Giernuzzi 1.0 be up soon. Probably by the weekend. I think we could do that. I think we can. We
And to
can
Seb, I would just like to, ask our listeners just a couple things from the game. Uh, do you think Jared Goff is the Rams franchise quarterback moving forward? And do you think Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer? Maybe if you guys want to give
think
us
that's a
your thoughts,
couple.
please.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a couple polls we can put up. Make sure you comment on that. We definitely want to hear from you because those are some questions that are going to be debated over the next couple days in the sports world. I mean, in the back of our heads, like you said, is Jared Goff the franchise quarterback for the Rams? I personally think he's going to be fine. You think otherwise, but that's something we can definitely debate. We're going to get out of here, you guys. Thank you so much for the continued support, and we'll catch you on the NBA show. Thanks, Pat. Good to see you, bud. Good to talk to you. Talk to
All
you
right, take
guys
care,
soon.
guys. Thanks for
Thank you.
everything.